Essays on Untouchables and Untouchability Social by Babasaheb Ambedkar. Chapter 3, Part 4. There is no doubt that caste had the sanction of Hindu law. Every Hindu law book has recognized caste as a legal institution, a breach of which was an offense and entailing punishment. The law book of Manu, called Manav Dharma Shastra, is the oldest and the most authoritative law book of the Hindus. It would be enough to quote from its text, showing that caste was recognized by law. Manu, the Hindu lawgiver, gives legal recognition to the institution of the four Varnas. To lay down the law of the four Varnas seems to be the principal object of Manu's code. This is clear from the opening verses of the code. They state that 1. 1. The great sages approached Manu, who was seated with a collected mind, and having duly worshipped him, spoke as follows. 1. 2. Deign, Divine One, to declare to us precisely and in due order the sacred law of each of the four chief castes, Varna, and of the intermediate ones. Not only he gives it his legal sanction, he makes it incumbent upon the king to uphold the institution. 735. The king has been created to be the protector of the castes, Varna, and orders who, all according to their rank, discharge their several duties. 824. All castes, Varna, would be corrupted by intermixture, all barriers would be broken through, and all men would rage against each other in consequence of mistakes with respect to punishment. Manu makes breach of caste a sin and prescribes 3 different punishments to one who has become a patit by loss of caste. The first punishment is punishment after death. Manu says, 12:16. He who is associated with outcasts, he who has approached the wives of other men, and he who has stolen the property of a Brahman becomes a Brahma Rakshas. In this life, the punishment which a Patit has to undergo was twofold. One was excommunication. The nature and character of excommunication prescribed by Manu has been prescribed by him in the following terms. 11:181. He who associates with an outcast himself becomes an outcast after a year, not by sacrificing for him, teaching him, or forming a matrimonial alliance with him, but by using the same carriage or seat, or by eating with him. 182. He who associates with any of these outcasts must perform in order to atone for such intercourse the penance prescribed for that sinner. The sapindas and samanodakas of an outcast man must offer a libation of water to him as if he were dead outside the village on an inauspicious day, in the evening and in the presence of the relatives, officiating priests and teachers. A female slave set with her foot a pot filled with water as if it were for a dead person. His sapindas as well as his samanodakas shall be impure for a day and a night. But thenceforward it shall be forbidden to converse with him, to sit with him, to give him a share of the inheritance, and to hold with him such intercourse as is usual among men. The other was disinheritance. Eunuchs and outcasts, persons born blind and deaf, the insane, idiots, and the dumb, as well as those deficient in any organ of action or sensation, receive no share. And if he be the eldest, his right of primogeniture shall be withheld an additional share due to the eldest son, and in his stead a younger brother, excelling in virtue, shall obtain the share of the eldest. The only way to avoid these punishments of excommunication and disinheritance was to do penance in the prescribed form. Penance was the only remedy. Says Manu, 187. But when he has performed his penance, they shall bathe with him in a holy pool and throw down a new pot filled with water. But he shall throw that pot into water, enter his house, and perform as before all the duties incumbent on a relative. There was no distinction between a male patit and a female patit. Neither was exempt. The rule applies to both. For Manu says, let him follow the same rule in the case of female, but clothes, food, and drink shall be given to them, and they shall live close to the family house. There can be no doubt that the legal sanction was a powerful sanction. The punishment prescribed by law for breach of caste was twofold. It involved excommunication and the loss of right to inherit. How formidable these punishments were has been well described by Sir Thomas Strange in his treatise on Hindu law. Referring to the subject, he says, the end.